Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. My guest today said that if you don't have tension in your life, you're not living right. And boy, did that get me when I first heard that. So that's what we're going to talk about as I invite him to come on with me. We have a new backdrop. We're just getting used to it. So I'm going to welcome Joe as we get started here.
How's that? How's that SNL move?
So for those of you who don't know, Joe is my husband, and we have a business called Crayon Leadership that we work on together, and we just enjoy our friendship being together.
Yes.
So it's kind of fun to just kind of twist his arm and say, "Hey, Joe, come on, join me." So
yeah, this is kind of fun. I look forward to it.
I'm curious to know, though, you guys, it's a fantastic Friday. What do you have planned for your weekend ahead? What's happening? What you want to tell them what we've got going?
Yeah, I think it's pretty funny. We're talking about this tension. You put this little meme up last night about, if we don't have tension, we're not doing life right. And we have a tension. We need to get to an event this weekend, and we've been planning for it, waiting for it to happen. We're part of a global community, like 1 million people. It's really wild, that are focused on empowered living, and we're having this live event here in Orlando for the first time. So we're going to meet people from across the world that are flying in just for this, and I'm excited. It's about a weekend of growth.
I'm excited too, but what I'm interested to know more about is, where's the tension?
Well, where's the tension? It really comes from intention. So you talked this past week about intention. Yes, I do listen to her videos. Intention. So are we intention? Do we have intention to do something, to change something? Well, that really talks about not intention, but it breaks down to inner tension. We have this inner tension between ourselves and our two selves, really. So we have this difference between who we are on the inside with who we project on the outside.
That's interesting. So as Joe came to me with this stuff, I gotta tell you guys what kind of guy he is, okay? I walked in his office the other day. That's where we are right now. You notice our new backdrop?
Our new studio. Yay!
That's kind of fun that we're getting going with this, but we've got a little bit of tension going on with that.
Yeah.
We tried some stuff and it didn't work the way we thought it was going to work. Well, it does, but it didn't come out as crisp and clean as we expected, and so we've got some learning curves to go against there. But what I was going to tell you guys is I walked into his office the other day, and he's got a couple of whiteboards. And
flip chart pads.
Yes, it doesn't end at just a couple of whiteboards. He's got a couple of whiteboards. He's got a couple of flip chart pads, and you could tell he was just thinking so much, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? And he's like, well, check this out. This goes to that, and this goes to that, and this one leads to this, and he has this whole pattern of thinking, and I'm going, it's just like totally blowing my mind. When he came to me with this thought about tension, and I mentioned coming live with me, I'm not kidding, you guys. He gave me 7 typewritten pages of notes. Just 7.
Just notes, just stuff on the topic. Anyways.
So Joe's a thinker is the point. And so I grabbed those notes, of course, because he's got some great thoughts. Didn't want to miss what he's got. But you wrote down a quote from Bruce Springsteen. And of course, I connect with Bruce Springsteen, the musician in him. But I think he said some pretty wise things along the way, too. Yeah. He said, pessimism and optimism are slammed up against each other in my records. The tension between them is where it's all at. It's where the lights, it's what lights a fire.
Yeah, so we're living on this point of a cusp between a choice between being pulled forward towards what we want, towards the future we want, towards the dream we have, the goal we have. Maybe it's stepping into a new job. We're pulled towards that, but then we're also pulled back into safety. We're saying, "Oh, I don't know." I remember doing this. My next career step. What am I going to do? It's been a couple of years. I've been into this role. What's my next? And I say, oh, okay, this is where I want to go. This is the job I want. So I was a senior asset liability analyst, and I wanted to be the asset liability manager. I thought that was the coolest job, and so I was thinking about it, and so I was, oh, I want to go, I want to do that, and then well, I don't know, and somebody else, oh, that person's probably going to get, or they'll just go like all they always, and they'll go outside and get somebody, and I'll have a new boss.
We do have those conflicts, and they pop up everywhere. Even as we're just sitting here right now, I'm thinking I can't see any of the comments. Like,
oh
I
yeah,
don't know if people are saying good morning. I don't have any clue what's going on. And so, Joe was talking here, and I'm going, all I can think of is I've got this little tension because I don't know who's out there. So I want to say good morning to you guys. Make sure you pop in and say hello, even if I can't see your comments, because it is fun to see who's out there. But we want to respond to you as you're popping in and you're listening to us too. Do you feel that conflict that we're talking about, that inner outer conflict, like you want something, but then there's, that conflict in what you do and what you say, and it gets kind of crazy as we're living life, I think.
yeah, yeah, I think so. One of this is just going to be very distracting here because it's now jumping to a different video instead of our video.
Uh-oh.
Otherwise, wow, there's 788 people online. All right, we'll have to come back to the comments, figure out this comment thing. But I think the biggest part here is the determination or the distinction between outer self and inner self. So our outer self is who we want to present to the world. We're trying to be our best, but we are overwhelmed at times by the demands of school, work, our life in general, everything that's going on, and we're trying to be the best. But then we have this difference between what we want, what we're projecting, to what we feel inside.
So how do you resolve that tension?
Well, we have to kind of think into what's causing it. What's the gap here? Why do we have a difference between what we want and what we're feeling, what we think about, what we want, and then what's holding us back, or what's things that are stumbling? You talked about a few things that you could do this week, but I think one other way of doing this is to look at the gap and say, okay, take a moment and just write down all the things you believe in. So like friendship and honesty and integrity, helpfulness, right? And then take those and say, during my day, how do I align with those? So if I'm talking about friendship, who are the friends I talked with today? How did I interact with them? And then look for the little actions that you're supposed to be doing. So if I want to be having friends but I'm sitting alone, there's a problem there.
Exactly. Well, you can count your online interaction, right?
Well, you can. It's a different interaction, right? Depends on what you're thinking about, how friendship means to you.
Okay.
Right. So there's this balance, and I think Lauren Daigle said this well, and you've got the quote there.
Sure. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best. But when it takes over the joy in the moment and the joy in the journey, that's when there's an internal tension, and I have to surrender that. So we have to surrender that internal tension. But how do you bring it back into balance? I think that would be the big question.
Yeah. So sometimes we're tilted. You know, tension is a range, and we're tilted. We're tilted one way or another, and we need to bring this back. So I think if you take the idea of friendship and you say, uh, "Oh, I'm just not getting with my friends," or you know, they're just getting pushed off. Well, sometimes I'll say, "I'll come back to you in a few minutes," and then it's a half an hour later.
Oh, I hate when that happens. Whether it's to me or from me, I hate that.
Yeah. So we need to slow down. So it might be just a simple thing. We need to slow down and just be there and listen. Take the time to listen to what the other person has to say.
Mm.
You know, I think Nir Eyal, you were talking about his book last week,
Indistractable.
Indistractable, and he was working on he was intent about his email from work, and yet he's trying to deal with his daughter, and his daughter wants his attention, and he's saying, just a minute, I gotta look, and it's like, where's the, you know, if you really want to value your child, you should focus on that and then put the email later.
And that was exactly how that book came about, because he realized that tension needed to be resolved.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
So just taking the time to be present.
Yeah, and you're going to work through each one of those things that you find that you're not doing the steps that you said is valuable to you.
Makes sense to me. So if you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments, because I'm sure either I will comment to them or Joe will come back through and he'll add his expert knowledge to the subject. I read a poem the other day. Susie Kasem wrote this poem, and I'm kind of curious to know what you think about this one. It's called Apply Within. You once told me you wanted to find yourself in the world, and I told you, first apply within to discover the world within you. You once told me you wanted to save the world from all of its wars, and I told you, first save yourself from the world and all the wars you put yourself through.
Wow, that's good.
Deep.
Yeah, that is deep. But you know, it's talking to this conflict that we have within us, and I first got to resolve this. I got to resolve me before I can go and say, "Oh, Lisa, tell me about your problem today, or how did your day went?" And I'm not ready to receive it.
So what happens if you don't resolve that within you first?
You have stress. You go to full stress, and then you start wearing down. I know all about getting into that, so that out of balance, and then my health was taking a dive, and I wasn't feeling good, and it was getting harder and harder to get to work and think and be productive, and you know, the whole thing started shutting down.
Well, you've definitely changed that, because I see all those deep thoughts. I get to hear them, and it's really great to see that turnaround and that change. Yeah. So, do you have anything else you want to share in summary?
No, I think we just want to remember this conflict. I think as we go into this weekend, this might be a good time to reflect and say, how did my day go yesterday? Or how was at the end of today or this weekend? Look back at one of the days this past week and say, what are the things I value? What are the things that are important to me? And am I doing the steps necessary to support that value, support that relationship, support that interaction that I want?
Good advice. So there you have it. I guess tension really can be a benefit to us at times. I think it encourages us to move forward. It doesn't allow us to just kind of stay stuck, right? It encourages us to make that forward progress. So good thoughts, and thank you for sharing those.
Yeah, I think the best thing is stress is okay. Just be comfortable with the change and accept it. Because when we don't accept change, then we have even more conflict.
So this weekend going away, we could put some changes out there. We could actually end up going live throughout this weekend, just because it's going to be an exciting weekend. And I'm just
dance parties, probably too.
We could share the dance parties if you guys want to. I don't know about that, but you never know what you learn at these events. And sometimes you just feel that urge to go live. So you may find us going live throughout the weekend, tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, as we enjoy the people that we're with and the things that we're learning. So what do you guys think about this person joining me live more often? Do you...
Ooh, there's the stress.
I think it could make it a little bit more interesting instead of just being me. Having a little bit
I
of.
think we got a couple other people we could bring in.
That would be fun too. Yeah. So, how are you guys feeling about having some guests on the show, or perhaps you have something that you would like to talk about mindset regarding, and you want to join me on the show? We could do that, even if you're not sitting right here next to me. I can bring you in and just add your perspective as well. So thank you for joining us. I really look forward to seeing your comments later and connecting with you and seeing what your thoughts were too. Sorry I wasn't able to view them as we were live today, but it's part of that tension that we'll solve over here, and part of the learning curve. It just kind of makes life fun and interesting as we do that and we grow too. So I hope you guys have a terrific weekend. Hope it's been a great week for you. But take this weekend to rejuvenate yourself. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, and so that you can be there more fully for other people as well. Just what we're designed to be. For those of you who may not know who I am, my name is Lisa Dutkiewicz. This is my husband, Joe, and I'm a coach for Mindset Success. We're both certified in leadership coaching. We're speakers and love to travel and share the things that we do in the trainings. So if you want to connect with us in that way too, feel free to do that. If you find value in these videos, of course, share them out. Let other people know why you're sharing them out and some of the value that you found, so that they know why they should watch it too. So I think with that, for sure, we'll probably pop in off and on, but otherwise we'll be back Monday morning at 7:45 Eastern. At least I will be. And Joe, I want to thank you for being here.
Thanks, Lisa.
Today.
Appreciate it.
Really appreciate having you here.
Yeah. Great.
So, have a good weekend. Looking for where to shut it off here, I guess.